Hello and welcome to the Car Care Nut channel. Folks, today we got another 2011 Toyota Avalon, but unlike the last Toyota Avalon, which did have a few issues, had more miles, interior was a little past it, this is a pristine example. And we're going to take this opportunity for me to show you why one-owner cars are actually very highly sought after, and you will see with your eyes how these cars are taken care of and what makes them so special. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. If you are a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos, and without further ado, let's go check this thing out. So the cool thing about first owner cars is that first owners paid full price for this car, MSRP or lower, whatever the case may be. But the cool thing about first owners, they still see the car, even when it gets older, as that baby that they drove new, and they still see it in that fashion, and they will take care of it accordingly. Not everybody, but majority of. Having said that, there are some goodies that are associated with one-owner cars. Let's go inside and I'll show you as we tour the inside of this one-owner Avalon. First of all, just look at this interior. It is so clean, it is immaculate. And that has to do with the miles of this car, which we're going to take a look at in a second here. But the goodies, here are some goodies that the owner of this car showed me. The pamphlet from the car when they bought it from the dealership, they still have it. This shows you all the interior, the options, the colors, and everything. That is really cool to see. This is not a collector car. This is not going to be something extremely expensive, but it's super cool to see still with the car. The other thing is the original window sticker. And this car was $38,844. This is a limited trim. This is basically the top of the line, all options. Really cool to see these still with the cars. Usually by the second, third owner, these get thrown around and you won't see them anymore. But more impressive than these two is how this owner with this specific car took care of it and how meticulous they were about keeping everything. Over here is an entire envelope that has, I'm not going to show you what's inside because to keep the privacy of the owner, but the complete service history of this car and even the original purchase papers, which shows everything, how much they bought it for, everything, the extended warranty they got with it, all the paperwork that came with the car when it was new. This is stuff as it trickles down to the second and third owner. It goes away, and of course the owner's manual is there. That usually comes with the car, but this is the kind of stuff that first owners are really known to keep, and this is really cool. And look at this thing. I mean, they still treat this car as the $38,000 car that they bought, even though it's 11 years old. They still see it that way. Look at the headliner, look at the interior. You remember that one 2011 Avalon we saw? I mean, look at this interior. It is just pristine and beautiful. But what makes this specific Avalon even more special, let's look at the miles. This is a one owner to 11-year-old car. Look at the miles. We have 56,068 miles. In Toyota land, that is barely broken in. I mean, that's not even broken in. This thing has so much life left. And in the condition that it's in, it's even going to last a lot longer. Having said that, we're not going to just look at it and call it a day. Let's go look under the hood. We're going to do a full inspection. We're going to lift this car up, check everything out to see how does a one-owner, low-mile 2011 Avalon hold up in 2022. So let's go do that. Okay. Not only is this a one-owner car, it's actually a Car Care Nut one-owner car because this looks very clean. I mean, I cannot tell you as a professional mechanic how much extra OCD and extra care I put in cars that when I open the hood, everything is clean. This just shows me that the owner cares about their car. I usually care about all the cars I work on, even if they're falling apart. This is just a common courtesy. But when I see something like this, I take that extra mile, extra 10 miles to really take care of it because This shows pride of ownership, and that's very high among first owners. Let's start our inspection here. And starting with the common thingies with the Avalons, power steering return line has been replaced, and this is something our owner actually told me about. I see no leaks here. Everything looks nice and dry. This line has actually been replaced because this owner had an extended warranty, and they told me that was the only thing that they used their extended warranty for. Let's look at our mount here. The dog bone mount looks like new. Nothing, not even cracks, nothing. Power steering fluid is clean. Something that is common for these Avalons is this washer fluid cap always falls off. This one is still here. This is so rare to see it. They usually just fall off because of the design of the hinge. They love to fall off. Coolant looks good. Let's pop the engine cover here, which is very clean actually. We don't have any surprises behind the engine cover. Usually it's not uncommon to see a giant mouse nest here. So there's nothing here. And I'm looking at the color of the aluminum. This is just extremely clean. I really like this car. It's been taken care of and it shows. Let's look at something that I found very, very interesting. We're gonna try our best to show it on camera here. Look at the inside of this engine. I really hope you can see it well. Let me try to get you really close. See how clean that is? Look at the aluminum wall. I mean, that looks brand new. I have taken engines that are 2 years old that they look 10 times worse than this. You can tell there is a lot of good oil change history here without even looking at the history, which I have, and it's really good. This car was not driven much. Oil changes were regular, anywhere from 6 to 8 months. Done by the owner, used good quality original filter, good fluid, and that's how it should be. I'm liking everything that I'm seeing here. Brake fluid looks clean. I'm looking around, original starter, original alternator. I don't see any leaks on the radiator here. I mean, this thing is in really good shape. And of course, it has low miles. That's what we expect. Let's lift this car up. Let's look around it. Let's look around the engine. And as we continue our tour of this pristine, one owner, low mile, 2011 Avalon. So let's take a look at the one owner, very low mile 2011 Avalon. Talk to the owner of this car. These are the original brakes from 11 years ago. And this is typically a sign of, look at these brakes. I mean, that's like 6 to 7 millimeters right there. We're not even close to replacement. That's a sign of somebody that does not beat on the car or really drive it hard. Signs of the first owners. Let's look at the rest of the suspension here. The strut, even though this is a Chicago car, you see the salt all over the place. I mean, it's not really rusty because this owner took care of it, cleans it all the time. No leaks at all. Nothing here. Control arm bushing is good. Rack and pinion boot is dry here. Transmission, no leaks. I mean, everything is looking great. Sway bar bushing is good. I really like this. I mean, this is not a sight I'm used to in 11-year-old cars in Chicagoland. Let's go look at the other side and we'll check out the engine if there's any leaks there. On this side, we have the same thing. Brakes are the same, 6 to 7 millimeters. Sway bar link is good. Strut doesn't even have leaks or rust or anything. I mean, you can see the resemblance of the sticker that usually comes on these when they're new. It's there. That's really rare to see these days. Control arm bushing is good. One thing that we have here is a very, very small rack and pinion leak. And you can see the boot's a little bit wet. I already talked to the owner about this. This is not something I would worry about at this point. When we see that the fluid starts leaking, then we'll worry about it. Some shops will jump and say you need a rack and pinion, but you don't. If you see this, just barely like seepage or wetness on the boot, that's not to a point where you need to replace it yet, but keep an eye on it, definitely. Something common with these. Let's look at the engine and let's go underneath the car. First off, the front timing cover is not leaking on this, and that's the first good sign. Of course, I didn't expect it to be. Underneath it, there are absolutely zero leaks from the engine and transmission. Folks, this is an 11-year-old car. You'll rarely see this in other cars. I'm looking at the head gasket. Really hard to show it on camera. Right there. Zero leaks, no external leaks. This coolant was actually recently replaced. This is a viewer's car, so they used my video to replace the coolant. No issues with the head gasket leaking. Even the exhaust, rust-wise, this is not bad for an 11-year-old car. You can still see some color on these bolts. And underneath this car, you notice something. It is undercoated. And there are absolutely zero rust on the body. And because this is a one-owner car, we have the body plug is there. How cool is that? We've seen so many cars that are missing the body plug. But everything else here, this part of the exhaust looks a little rusty, but not as bad as some of them that I've seen at this age. This car is an excellent, we've seen a lot of good shaped cars here on the channel, but this one is exceptionally good. Brakes are original. This is the second set of tires. I've talked to the owner. This is the second set of tires in this car. Such a good. This car is in excellent condition. The radiator, no leaks. I looked at it earlier. Unlike that other Avalon we had, this one has zero leaks. Very, very nice car. This is the kind of car that you see for sale. It's worth it. Now, this owner is probably not going to sell this car at all. At least for a long while, but just for you when you're shopping around out there. Very nice car. So, folks, this is why first owner cars are usually taken care of, and you can find them in this shape. Now, we are talking about Toyotas, and this is a low mile example, but even higher mile examples, first owners will usually really take care of this car. But what I want to convey to you in this video is, even if you buy a car from the first owner, continue on. Take care of your car. Do the maintenance. Watch the car. Inspect it. Get it inspected so it could stay in this shape. I have had the pleasure of buying a few cars from first owners, and I continued on the revolution. And I have seen other people that bought car that is very pristine from the first owner and continued on. In this market of today, we have cars, prices that are inflated and all that, and sometimes you have no choice but to buy a car that is very expensive. But I wish, after watching this video and seeing the condition that this car is in, at least when you overpay for a used car, you're buying one that is a one-owner car that has been taken care of, and it shows. Not every first owner is going to take care of their car. Some people will destroy them as well. But you want to look for that pristine one-owner car that looks like this, and been taken care of like this one is. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.